hey ya, hey ya. Welcome back to Dr. Monica Nicole with me, the home of the deep thinker, Sunny. This is the place where, listen, if you ain't a deep thinker, go ahead, get in, get comfortable, watch a few videos after this one because we get deep, 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 deep into these conversations. Okay, so as you see from the title, today's conversation is getting into what happens when you are in the process of leveling up. What happens when you are in that space of elevating? What does that look like? Okay, what does it even look like? That's what we're going to be getting into. I have my handy dandy iPad here where I just took some notes and things of that nature that I want to make sure that I do hit on because those of you all know I love to talk and sometimes I can just be going. So I want to make sure that I hit all of the pieces for this conversation to keep it efficient. Okay. So, one of the first things that I want to, just remind you all is that when you are elevating, it may not always look like it and feel like it. Okay. It may feel like a band aid is being ripped off of you and your entire life, your entire being, everything that you know is starting to be stripped away from you. And it's because literally you have to become a new person. And that goes back to my video where I was going into how um, those of wealth, how they utilize religion differently, how they look at it differently, how they interpret it differently. So the aspect of you being birthed into something new, someone new, is the sense of you literally changing and becoming a different person. It has nothing to do with you being baptized on Sunday and then you still going right to your favorite restaurant after that. Like nothing changed, right? You literally are being stripped and created into a new person, a new being. And so I'm going to talk about what are some of those signs and what that can look like. Just help those of you all who may be on this journey or this process and you don't have anybody to talk to about it. Okay. That's why you got, I'm your new internet auntie. Okay. Internet auntie. Okay. Okay. I don't really do best friends like this. So we going to say auntie. My new identity came with, I no longer consider a person to be a best friend. I have friends and I have associates, whichever you are. Okay. I'm my best friend. Like my grandma used to say, she was like, I'm my best friend, me and Jesus. Even the friend that she had that would be considered a best friend, she said, that ain't my best friend. I ain't got no best friends. Like that was something that subconsciously she did. And I always thought that was interesting, but I've adopted that now. But I have seven different things that I'm going to talk about within this conversation today. And so we're going to get started with the first one. Okay. So the first one is that you may find yourself losing interest in older things, food, people, and literally you have a different taste for it. Have you ever, for wherever my other autistic baddies are, okay, how we can eat the same food for like a whole month, then all of a sudden we have it and it just don't taste right and we're done with it. Like, I don't want that, and we get a new food. Okay, a new food of the month. Okay, very similar to that aspect. Okay, you find yourself losing interest in the things that you used to do. It no longer makes you excited anymore. You may find yourself, you used to be big into club culture, all that. You may find yourself not want to go to parties or clubs anymore. You may find yourself not liking to binge certain things or listen to certain music anymore. Different parts of you, it just starts to shift, it starts to change, and your taste changes. So, for example, I remember someone had made a post on TikTok one day and they were saying, was it TikTok or Threads before I deleted it? I can't remember. I think it was Threads. And they said, "What did you do to get over like an ex that like you used to be just so in love with them and then they did you wrong, did you dirty or something, turned you away, but you're still like feeling away?" And told them, "I changed the version of me that was attracted to them in the first place." Because the reality is everyone around us is just a mirror. They're showing us ourselves, they're showing us our reality, they're showing us what we're in alignment with at that time. Okay. And so, with them being just simply a mirror for us in those moments, you can't take and give them more power than what they really have. So, I'm not going to sit. I used to, the old me used to be like, oh, they were so toxic and they did me like this. And da da da. I acknowledge what they did, I acknowledge how they showed up in my life, and then I changed who I am, who was attracted to that in the first place. So that now they're ugly to me. Nothing about that is fine. Nothing about that make me want to jump on it and ride it. Okay. I look like this every yeah. What they say, yeah. Okay. That's what I do now. Because it's never really about the other person. It's about how that person is a connection to you and a relation to you. Okay. Always remember that. And it helps you get over things easier. It helps you detach from a healthier place. And I always say if that person is meant to be back in your life in any type of instance, if you all are on the same page, things of that nature, they will show up in your new spaces. So, what do they call it? The last meeting theory or something like that? Like, if you're not meant to ever see a person ever again, y'all can live in a small town and y'all will never run into each other again because the version of you who used to go to the pool hall don't go to the pool hall anymore. You go to museums now. Person ain't changed nothing. They still go to the pool hall every weekend. They ain't going to no museum. So now you're meeting new people. You get what I'm saying? And so you start to your type starts to change, your interests start to change. The people that you want to be around, it starts to change. The taste in your mouth changes. So we don't just, for example, quit drinking. We lose the taste for it. We change the version of ourselves that liked it. That's key. The next one, you'll find yourself having a new algorithm. Okay. A lot of people um, don't really pay attention to this a lot of times, but your algorithm on social media is a representation of your subconscious and what you're calling into your reality at that time. So one thing I noticed is that once I start scrolling for too long on like TikTok, all of a sudden the more low vibrational stuff start coming in, the little sad stuff, all that jazz, and it's telling me that now I'm getting into the frequency of depression. I'm no longer in the realm of consciousness and taking in information and creating all the other jazz. I'm now getting into the aspect of depression because the act of continuously scrolling on the internet, on social media, and consuming an overwhelmingly amount of content and not creating on your own is a heavy symptom of depression. Okay, and it puts you in depression. I always like to talk about how depression is like another type of spiritual warfare. But we'll save that for another conversation if that's something that you all are interested in. But your algorithm on the internet will show you where you're at. So you'll start seeing things of like talking about whatever it is that you're working towards. You'll see that in your algorithm. You'll see the higher vibrational type of things, stuff that you used to, be into, you don't see it anymore. So for example, when I started changing certain aspects to me, I noticed people like, the Tasha K's and stuff was no longer showing up on my homepage and my algorithm because I shifted out of that. I was no longer in that space of consuming the gossip content and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? So, you may also find yourself not like really being aware of a lot of things that's happening in the world. Oh, child. Mm. Like a mosquito or something. You find yourself not being aware of everything that's happening in the world. Okay, yo, this little mosquito that ain't trying to, or is that a gnat? Ooh, ooh. In the spiritual community, don't y'all say that's like a monitoring spirit or something? But child, look, somebody always monitor me, so it is what it is. Um, you may find yourself, like I said, not really aware of a lot of things that happens in pop culture, and you're in your own world, and that's totally fine. You'll find yourself having new hobbies, friends, and trying new things all together. You playing pickleball and um trying tennis and shit. Ooh, my gosh, I don't know what that is. I don't know if I got it. I thought I got it last time. Um, and no, you know. Okay. You find yourself trying new things, new hobbies, new tasks. So, for example, for me, it was like getting into a new workout routine, getting into aerial, and doing other different things to just align myself in different spaces. And I met new friends. I met new frequencies and vibrations because, baby, people in aerial got money. We spending all this money every month on a hobby. You got money. Okay, you got money. and you spend it to enjoy yourself. Okay. So being in different environments, trying new things, it brings out a new version of you. It brings out a version of yourself that you didn't know existed until you tried it and you trained your brain muscles to be aligned with it. So then you also may find yourself getting very emotional, my love. Okay. It's an up and down roller coaster at times because you are literally allowing the old parts of you to die off. And those tears, see them as being like you're watering the seeds of your new reality. You're grieving your old self. You're grieving your old reality. You're grieving what no longer works for you. So, very similar to you having that favorite outfit from when you were a teenager and you are now an adult and you can't fit in that outfit anymore, you're crying because that's always your favorite outfit and you can't find that same outfit anywhere. This is literally a if I this was my life experience for real. I had this happen. I missed that outfit. It was a baby fat outfit, y'all. Is this an individual experience? But I kept that outfit through college until I got out of college and I couldn't fit it no more. And I was sad. And then it got bleached a little bit. It was brown and white. I remember I got it for my I'm so sad. But I'm not really sad, but it's like that of growing out of something that you no longer can fit, that no longer fits and shifts into your reality and what you got going on now. You know what I'm saying? And you got to let that have happen. You may find, well, you not may find yourself, you will, because what they say, higher levels, new devils, right? Or whatever the case is, it just means that the problems are going to be bigger. You know what they say, the more money, more problems, but we don't claim it in that aspect. We say more money, more management skills because you're still going to have issues when the more money comes. You're still going to have problems that come up, but you have to implement the mindset shifts and activities that you come to learn over time to help you get through those moments. Okay. And that's what that means to go through those issues and those moments. So, an example for me, I had an issue happen where I lost a few $1,000s, right? Old me would have got into scarcity mindset and would have been trying to find ways to make some money. I said, I'm not about to do that. I'm about to go back in here and finish typing on this book. Don't you know? I ended up manifesting a few $1,000s through a fellowship. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. Those new tests are going to come because it's testing to see, do you really believe this new reality that you said you shifted into? Are you ready to be on a wealth frequency? Because a wealth frequency is not about you trying harder, working harder, and adding in. No, it's about you being in alignment with what you want to do, how you want to do it at your highest frequency. Now, if your highest frequency is a generator energy and you thrive off of working and moving, then so be it. So be it. But if that ain't working for you, baby, that ain't your highest frequency. And it's time to shift it. And you need to react and act in that same method. Come on now. One of y'all needs to go on and book a subconscious call with me so you can go and get this head popping. Okay. The link is down below in the description box and in the pinned comment. Um, so then you have the urge to change your looks. You know, you have the urge to change your hair, change your wardrobe, change the colors that you wear, change your color palette, change your glasses. You have the urge to do something drastic. You're in that level and that verge of leveling up. That's what that is. That's what that is. You're leveling up because the old looks went with something else. So similar to how they say that different hairstyles attract different things. And it's so freaking true. Okay. Different hairstyles attract different things, even down to you can't even just group all locks into the same because sister locks attract a certain thing. Traditional locks attract a certain thing, and freeform locks attract a certain thing. You got pixie cuts, short cuts, curly hair, natural hair, blowouts, curl outs, okay, bust downs. Okay, you got all these different things and they attract different things, different realities. I knew I always wanted locks, right? Let me tell y'all my story about getting to these locks. This is my second set of locks, actually. My first set of locks was traditional locks. I had them and they just didn't feel right to me. I had them for about a year and a half, and I'm like, I need something that's more like it to me. This is to me, you all. I didn't like having the bigger locks in my hair. I said, I want something small, something that still in a way looks like flowy hair, all this other jazz, right? And so I ended up combing them out. People thought it was like, you crazy. Why you combing your locks out? They so pretty. They da 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 da. Because I started with two strand twists. And then after that, I cut my hair off. And I said, I want to start just from the full beginning. And it off. Remember, my grandfather had passed away shortly around that time. And I just felt like myself going through a major transformation. And so I was in my natural space and I was like, I really want to get locks again. And I was just researching different types, right? And so I remember starting my doctoral program, not doctoral, sorry, my master's of social work program. And my advisor and other beautiful Black women, they were all like educators and staff and stuff at the university. They all had these long, beautiful sister locks. And I said, those are the locks that I want. I want those. And I'm so happy I got it. I'm so happy I got them. And I felt my energy shift with me having them. And the longer they get, now they will definitely be longer than this if I wouldn't have like how much I've dyed my ends and stuff. My locks would, you see how long this one is? This is how long all of them would be. Okay. If I didn't, mess it up with the dye and all the other jazz, but we live and we learn. You know what I'm saying? We live and we learn. Okay. But these will definitely be 40 inches by this point. But I still love the journey that I've gone through with them. And I see how what I attract is different. And I like it. Everyone don't just attract to me. And the thing is, when I stop because I used to be the type to go after what I wanted. Now that I don't go after and I allow myself to receive, the type of people who come to me are the ones who be, you know what I'm saying, here, take off. I'll take care of you. They honor me like a goddess in a way. Well, not in a way, they do. And so different things attract different things. And I'm not saying other ones don't attract people that treat them like that, y'all. Because I know somebody gonna listen, they gonna take it if they gonna get triggered by it. Okay, baby, your trigger ain't me. Your trigger is if you ain't getting treated like a goddess and you feel like I was coming after you. Okay, but I want to say I'm not saying that because I know people who got traditional locks who get treated like goddess. Okay, I treat them like a goddess. I'm just telling you from my experience. And then the last one, you become harder to reach. You become harder to reach. You're not as accessible anymore. Everyone can't get close to you. Okay. Your and when I say price, I'm not meaning like an actual price, but to be able to reach you, it's a certain level of being that a person has to be in. And that's just what it is. And so that is the message, y'all. This was a lot, deep thinkers. And if you haven't become a deep thinker yet, why you ain't hit that subscribe button? And make sure you check out some other videos so that you can be able to comment in the future videos. Okay? Because listen, here we go deep, 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 deep. Okay? Because sometimes that shit is really deep. So make sure y'all check out my subconscious archetype quiz that is down below in the pinned comment for you to check out your own personal subconscious archetype. And at the end, you will receive the ability to get a personalized workbook that relates to your results. Okay. So they are personalized. I have different workbooks that relate to, excuse me, that relates to different outcomes. Okay. The different archetypes. So definitely check that out. If you know your archetype, let us know down below inside of the comments. And yeah, always remember, y'all, sometimes shit really is that deep. I'll see y'all later.